It certainly is a beautiful Friday morning, and we are back in the kitchen because instead of baking something now, we're going to go back to our Baking 101 tips brought to you by Stork, because it's important to know exactly how to go about the process of baking, especially with the whole baking trend going along. So I've got food editor for Ideas Magazine, Louisa Holt. She's in studio with us, and she's going to be taking us through some baking jargon, right? Because I think when a lot of people see a recipe and they see, you know, interesting words, we might get confused by them, right, Louisa?
Yeah, for sure. It can be
How
confusing.
are you, by the way?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, that's good. Now, I know one thing that I also, when I approached my first baking recipe and I saw beat an egg, I was like, what do I have to do? Like, No, right? It means to rapidly stir something.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah. Now, beating's an easy one.
Okay.
And then we get to some slightly more complicated ones like creaming.
Okay.
They're not really that complicated. But creaming, I'll just show you. You're going to use it for the base of any cake that's made using butter.
All right.
So you would have some, you've got your Stork bake, and then you can just soften that a little bit. If you can use a cake mixer, obviously, for this.
Yes.
You don't want to do it by hand. And then your sugar. And creaming is basically just mixing it until it's light and creamy.
All right.
And it's just to help start dissolving the sugar and to help incorporate air into it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not going to finish it now because it will take too long to do by hand. But normally, as soon as it starts turning a little bit pale in colour, then you know the mixture is creamed. And after that,
and kind of smooths itself out as well.
Yes,
hey?
yeah.
So that's what creaming is, to cream butter.
Yeah, to cream. There you go.
There we go. Nice.
Then we have something called cutting in.
Okay.
Sounds a bit dangerous.
Especially when it's already a loose kind of, you know, ingredient. So how do you cut flour, for instance? Okay.
Well, you're basically going to cut your Stork bake into your flour.
Okay.
So that's already been done here. And basically it just means you're just going to take your knife and basically keep cutting until you've got fine, it looks like breadcrumbs.
And the reason you would do that would be?
Well, you would do this for pastries or you would do it for scones. And it's just, I mean, now you could add some liquid in and then and use your knife again. It's just basically because you don't want your Stork bake to melt.
Okay.
So you don't want to start rubbing it with your hands or anything like that. And just by using the knife, it helps keep it cool and helps keep it light.
Okay.
So you also don't want to over-mix it. So it's just an easy way of just keeping the mixture light and delicate.
There we go, cutting in.
Cutting in.
Now we know.
And then we've got whipping.
Okay.
So over here, we've got some cream. And then I'll just show you, this is what we call soft peak stage.
Okay.
When you lift your whisk up and then basically
and
it'll make a soft peak that kind of falls over. And if you carry on whisking, you're going to get to a stiff peak stage.
Okay.
And this is when it holds the peaks nicely when you lift up. So you
Now
see
this is a thing that I always get confused by, because if you over whisk, you're going to get butter.
Yeah.
How do you know when to stop?
Well, basically, as soon as you've got those stiff peaks, then you stop.
All right.
And then this is folding in. So here I've got some icing sugar.
Okay.
And folding in is basically, as opposed to stirring, it's just a lighter movement. So it will just mean you delicately kind of fold in, you see, like that. So you just up and over. And you're doing that just to make sure that the air stays in, that you keep your volume, so that you're not going to stir all the air out and then whatever you're going to do is going to be heavy or flop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know, just going through all of this, all of a sudden I feel a little bit more confident when it comes to the kitchen and especially baking, because baking's not like cooking. I think you really need to be precise.
You do.
And you need to do it right.
Yeah.
Else you're going to come out with rocks, you know, which you don't want. You don't want rocks. Okay.
No. Yeah. So, I don't know, do you have anything else you wanted to ask?
Well, that's all about, that's basically everything that we need. So we've creamed, we've folded, we've done cutting in, we've whisked, basically everything that we need when it comes to baking, right? Wonderful. Thank you so much, Louisa. Now, if you would like all of these tips, all you have to do is SMS the word Stork to 33728. We also have these very delicious peanut butter custard biscuits over here. And if you would like the recipe for this as well, all you have to do is go to Stork's Facebook page, I Love Baking, and you can get the recipe for that or sent to your phone as well. Louisa has sorted us out in terms of baking. Now I have a very special challenge to the guys of Mikasa. We know that they can sing. This is not an issue. The question is, can they dance? The challenge, boys, is on.
Stork. Best for baking.